Okay, radio's on. Just filled up the duster with fuel. I need to go over and taxi to the ramp and do a run up and warm up and all that kind of fun stuff. I'll talk you through that as we go through it. Unlike many of the other videos I've done, I'm going to try and narrate this one so you have an idea what's going on in the back seat here. Usually pretty quiet, but sometimes they get pretty busy. So we'll taxi out here, make sure nobody's on the ramp or on the taxiway, and get on through the ramp. We'll pick the weather up in the room.
2993, remark. Density altitude 1,900. Middleton Municipal Airport, Maury Field. Automated weather observation 1807 Zulu, weather, wind 320 at 10, visibility 10, clear below 12,000, temperature 21 Celsius, dew point 11, altimeter 2993, remark. Density altitude 1,900.
Okay, we got the wind. Wind is about 20 degrees off the runway heading. About 10 knots, which is not too bad. Going to taxi over to the ramp now. Get a parking spot just to let the engine warm up a bit. Then do a power run, make sure the bags are working. Exercise the prop and make sure it pitches right. Then we should be ready to announce out to the runway. Normal operating temperature for the cylinder heads when you want to take off is about 200 degrees. We really want to make sure we're at 200 before we even pull out of the ramp. On a winter day, on a summer day, it'll warm up by the time I get to the end of the ramp, to the end of the taxiway. We're right now about 174 degrees, but it's coming up pretty quick. We set our instruments, zero the G meter. Make sure the amps are up and the volts are correct. Oil pressure is good, oil temperature is coming up, it's above 100 already. Okay, let's go ahead and do the power run. We're bringing the RPM up to about 1700 RPM. Okay, there we go, about 18 now. First mag, drop. Second mag, drop. And exhaust temperature coming up as expected. Oil pressure is good. Exercise the prop. Yep, that works. Exercising the prop, what that means is I am increasing the pressure on the back of the prop to change the pitch of the blade. Right now I'm set for a power setting for best takeoff. Once I get into altitude, I'll change it back to a speed setting for the best cruise speed. Then go back to power before I land. Okay, everything looks good here. Cylinder head temps are up now above 200, so we're good. We'll go ahead and announce. Middleton Maury traffic, biplane to Acroduster taxiing ramp to runway 28, Middleton Maury. Temperature today is about 71 degrees, which is pretty comfortable. But once I get airborne and get a little altitude, I'll start getting chilly. So I'll get on the, I got my coat on.
Traffic, Cessna 739, joining your left downwind for runway 28, full stop point.
I've got my coat on to keep me comfortable today, just in case it gets a little cold than I expect. My hands should be good, but in a few days I'll be wearing my gloves. Do a zigzag pattern out to the end of the runway so I can see ahead of me. And looking for traffic in the pattern. I don't see any and I don't hear any. Somebody reported on the way in a few minutes ago, but still far out. Stop and pause for a second. Good look over the shoulder, make sure nobody's in the pattern. I don't see anybody, so I'll go ahead and announce. Middleton Maury traffic, biplane 2 Acroduster taking runway 2A, will be departing pattern to the west, Maury traffic. The plan today is I'm going to fly out to Lone Rock, drop in and see my mechanic for a few minutes and then head back. Lone Rock is about 40 miles to the west of us here. Line up on the runway. Bring power up. Sure I get good power coming up. Making power. Alright, let's go full throttle. Nose up, or tail up off the ground so I can see down the runway. Looking for 100 miles per hour. And I've got it. Just get the nose up a little bit. And forget my climb out. I slow the turn for more abatement. Climbing out at about 1,800 feet a minute right at the moment.
Morning traffic, so 739, let's be 28, full stop, morning.
Alright, I'm clear of the field enough. I can start back on the down or the upwind leg. Climbing at about 90 miles per hour. And I'm at pattern altitude. I'll go just a little bit higher. Got to stay below the crest Charlie shell. Alright, 2000 will stay there. Power back a little bit.
Morning traffic, Cessna 739 is final, runway 28, full stop, point.
Alright. Morning traffic, 347 for Echo is about 10 to the southwest, inbound, left downwind 28, morning. Alright, changing my prop now back to a cruise setting. I usually like to run about 2450 RPM. Takes a minute for everything to settle down and do what it's supposed to. Alright, about 2450. Bring my manifold pressure up closer to 24 inches. Alright, good there. Now I'll do my link find mean and peak setting, which allows me to run the engine at the most efficient fuel consumption on the lean side instead of the rich side of the peak. And then I can run my manifold pressure up above my RPM without having to worry about detonation. So over the next course of a few minutes, I'll be slowly pulling my throttle back, or my mixture back, looking for the instrument to tell me its mean of peak and how much. In the meantime, I just get on course to Lone Rock, and I'll stay at about 2,300 feet here for a while. If it gets too bumpy, I might go on up a little bit.
Morning traffic, Cessna 739 is taxiing to runway 28, morning.
Of course, you can't see, but I have my strobes on and my wigwag lamps are on the front, which alternately flash back and forth so people ahead of me get a visual of my incoming direction. Still looking for me to peak. I'll probably switch over and listen to Madison approach west to see if there's any other traffic in the area near me. Alright, we'll go over now.
Charlie, between 1432 and 321. Advise on initial contact, you have information. India.
Southwest, inbound West Allen, 28 morning.
Okay, it's indicating cylinder number 2 is currently at peak, so I want to come back just a little bit more. Okay, Lena Peak is set. I'm at 2460 RPM and 24.6 inches of pressure on the manifold, which is balanced. I don't have pressure.
42, it's going to maintain 5,000.
5000, Frontier 482.
So Rock 816, descend to maintain 3,000. Turn left, heading at 050. Report we have a field in sight.
Left 050, field in sight, so Rock 816.
So Rock 816, clear visual approach runway 36.
Clear visual approach runway 36, so Rock 816.
And of course, that is air traffic control talking to other airplanes coming into the area, going into Madison. All right. So we're level at 2,200 feet, indicating about 130 miles per hour. But my ground speed is 93 knots, which is more like about 115 miles an hour. Mostly because I have a headwind I'm flying into. All the instruments look good, pressure's good, tip is good, amps and volts are good, everything is steady. Nobody.
4109, true right, heading 160.
Right, 160, 4109.
Nobody in front of me. Even with me in level flight.
42, it's going to maintain 3,000.
3000, Frontier 482.
Even in level flight, I still have to drop the nose occasionally because my forward visibility is not that great.
So Rock 816, contact tower, 119.3.
119.3, so Rock 816, have a good day.
Not too bad here at 2,200 feet, so we'll just hang here for a while.
We'll get lower when able.
88 Delta, so maintain 6,000.
6,000, 88 Delta.
7 Mike Sierra, contact Gulf approach 135.25.
3525, good day, is that Mike Sierra?
Frontier 42, turn left heading 090.
Left 090, Frontier 482.
Skies 4109, descend to maintain 4,000.
17 4000, 4109.
Controllers are busy today. Passing by the town of Mazamini right now. Be off my right side. I have an eagle over top of me here. We're just passing underneath him right now. He's up at 2,400 feet. Not sure what he can see up there, but I see him up here all the time.
Frontier 42, turn left heading 030, intercept localizer, report we have the field in sight.
030, intercept the locum, we do have the field in sight, Frontier 482.
Frontier Flight 42, cleared visual approach runway 36.
Cleared visual 36, Frontier 482.
Madison approach, Cactus 5, leveling 11,000, we have India.
Cactus 5, Madison approach, expect vector visual approach runway 36, turns lower about 20 miles.
Okay, Okay, Victor, it's visual 36 for Cactus 5.
S4109, turn right, heading 180.
180, Skywest 4109.
Ahead of me on the left is Arena, that's a town called Arena. And on the 360 camera,
on the side 120.1.
20.1, Eddie Delta.
on the 360 camera, you can swing around and you can see the Wisconsin River over on my right side. Won't be many people out on the river today, either because of work, school, or the temperature is just a little chilly. About 14 miles now from Lone Rock. Lone Rock's been undergoing a lot of reconstruction this year. They're raising the height of the runways above surface due to flooding that happens every summer at the airport, so they're trying to get the elevation up.
42, contact tower, 119.3.
Forward to tower, Frontier 482, we'll see you.
Trying to get the elevation up so it won't flood every time it rains. It's a nice airport. Alright, we're going to switch off up Madison Approach West. We're kind of out of the practice area for student pilots. Most of the flight instructors will come out to the west side of Madison and to the area I just flew through. They'll contact Madison Approach West or Flight Watch while they're out in the practice area because they're busy with the student, busy with instruments, busy with teaching, and can't always look out as much as I'd like to. So the controller can tell them if there's anybody approaching them from any direction and give them a heading for keeping them separated nicely. Alright, I'm going to go over and pick up weather for Lone Rock and see what they've got going over there.
Lone Rock, Tri-County Regional Airport. Automated weather observation 1823 Zulu. Wind 280 at 12. Peak gusts 15. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 24 Celsius. Dew point 11 Celsius. Altimeter 2994. Remarks. Density altitude 1,900. Lone Rock. Automated weather.
Okay, that, the wind is 290. Because the north or the east-west runway is closed, we only have a north and south option, which means I would land with a 11 knot, 90-degree crosswind to me with gusts, which is not really comfortable. So I am going to avoid going to Lone Rock. We'll just fly around a little bit. Maybe we'll fly along the river on the other side, head back towards to Middleton. Let's start our turn. And because we're going to fly back through the practice area, I'm going to switch back over to Madison West. Okay, Madison West. We'll fly down the river for a ways and see what we see. Still at about 2,000 feet, 2,100 feet.
10 to 3,000, Cactus 5. type when it helps for Cactus 5. Clear to visual 36, Cactus 5. Rear tower, thanks for that 4109.
My onboard GPS unit picks up ADS-B traffic in the area of me. I do have some traffic. He's now south of me. He's not a factor, but I do see him behind me. Nothing in front of me at this point. I've got it set for about a 3-mile radius around me, so I see everything in that range, plus things that are about 7 miles out. Gives me a good time to avoid traffic and avoid mid-air passenger transfers. River looks a little bit low, but you can see all the sandbars in it, indicating it's a little bit low. Not flowing very hard, it doesn't look like. Sandbars in front, often we'll see a lot of people camping on those in the summertime with their canoes and kayaks. And occasionally we'll see a backcountry pilot land on them.
Madison approach, Skyhawk 438 Echo Romeo off Maury 2000. We'd like to come over and do the localizer 36 approach. I'd like to have vectors, if you can give us vectors.
Alright, that was a IFR student pilot just leaving Middleton Airport in one of the Cessna trainers. Talking to Madison. Wanting to go over and do some practice approaches at their airport.
Affirmative on the localizer.
Approach, squawk 0417.
Alright, they just got a squawk code.
0417 for 438 Echo Romeo.
I mentioned a while ago my ground speed was 93 knots. Now we've got a tailwind because we turned around 180 degrees, and now my ground speed's 111 knots. 111 is closer to about 130 or so miles an hour. Alright, we'll deviate from the river and start heading back over towards Middleton.
Cessna 8 Echo Romeo, Manson approach, radar contact 3 miles southwest of the Middleton Airport, Manson altimeter 2993, when able, fly heading 180 vector for the localizer runway 36 approach. What's your request after the localizer to 36?
2993 on the altimeter, flying heading 180, and we'd like to do after this first ILS, we'll do another one.
So say Echo Romeo, Roger, you can expect that. And Madison Lakefront 76 with the 3500 for 5,000, 320 on that. Lakefront 76, Madison departure, radar contact. Turn left direct, no 9, climb and maintain 10,000. Land direct, no 9, 10,000, Lakefront 81.
Okay, I don't have anybody on my...
Just wondering if the tall blonde then I used to work there, just want to give her a shout. Tell her hello for me.
I don't have anybody on my GPS in front of me right now, so I switched off Madison because it's getting kind of busy over there, and I can't narrate while he's talking. So now we're headed back. We're almost about 11 miles from Middleton Airport.
Good friend.
About 2,300 feet right now. I need to get down about 100 feet and get below
Yeah,
the...
good friend of Dr. Lewis, the lineman there.
Need to get below the Class Charlie shelf. So I'll drop down to about 2,100 feet. About 10 ounce, I'm going to grade an ounce. Middle Des Moines traffic, biplane track, that is 9.5 to the west, inbound Middle Des Moines. Now indicating 120 knots, which is 140 or so miles an hour. And I'm approaching the Class Charlie airspace, so I'm going to start to drop down below 2,300 down to 2,100. It'll be a gradual descent. You probably won't notice it on the cameras. I do have the airport in sight. Ahead of me and on the left is kind of a green patch you can see. You can see the lake in the distance, and there's a short green strip between them, and then a green patch. That's where the airport is located. All right, down to 2,100. I'll make my next call at 5 miles from the airport, which is coming up here pretty quickly. As soon as I cross over the east side of Cross Plains, which is ahead of me, then I'll make my next call. And I'll announce my intentions.
Maury traffic, Cirrus 344 Delta Delta departing from runway 28 to the west of Maury.
And Maury traffic, biplane track, that is 5 to the west over Cross Plains, inbound Middle Des Moines, plan to enter left downwind for runway 28, Middle Des Moines. Alright, so I'm kind of heading down. There's a road on my right over here. It's Highway 14. We kind of use that as our downwind leg reference point. We want to be over top of it to avoid houses and noise complaints and all that fun stuff. So kind of headed that direction. You always want to enter into the downwind at a 45 if you aren't already on heading, so that other traffic has a chance to see you and avoid you. No traffic ahead of me. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Nothing around me at all. And Cirrus is departing. I'm kind of looking to see if I can see him. I think I've got him on the runway. He's on the roll. Yep, he's off. At 2 miles from the airport, I'll announce it during downwind. If you can see him, he's just over the end of the runway right now and climbing. He's just a little white dot. Might be hard to pick up on the camera. Okay, I'm going to start pedaling back a little bit, blowing it up. Middle Des Moines traffic, biplane 2 Echo Delta entering left downwind, runway 28, Middle Des Moines.
Maury traffic, Cirrus 4 Delta Delta is entering, or exiting the pattern at Maury to the west.
Delta have you in sight, no factor. Alright, so now we're slowing the airplane up to about 100 miles an hour. That's my approach speed. So I want to get into a stable approach early. So it means I want to get my speed down to set up for my base leg and then final. In this airplane, unlike a Cessna or something, I don't start losing altitude at this point. I hold my altitude and pattern altitude even through the base leg, and I don't start descending until I'm the final. And then I do a forward slip all the way down to the runway, which helps me lose altitude really rapidly, but more specifically, doing a forward slip turns the airplane slightly to the right, which means I can see the runway all the way down. Middle to Maury traffic, biplane, 2 Acroduster, turning left base, runway 28, middle to Maury. Alright, there's the base leg. We fly down Parmenter Street. Still at pattern altitude. Turn nose up a little bit. Low back pressure. And we're at 100. Middle to Maury traffic, biplane, 2 Acroduster, turning final, runway 28, middle to Maury, touch and go. Okay, now we start everything forward slipping. Holding 100. At a nice angle to the runway. Dropping at 1,000 feet a minute, still a little bit high, so I'll pull power back a little bit more and lose some more altitude. Still holding 100. About 1,500 feet a minute now. Looks pretty good. Still holding 100. Still 100. Still forward slipping. My aiming point is the actual end of the numbers. Alright, a little power here. I'm starting to sink a little. And straighten it up. Alright, just a little bit behind the numbers. Throttle up. Get some speed. Alright, lift off, make my turn. Noise abatement procedure is turning to 300 degrees for normal traffic, but because my airplane is quite loud, I usually turn to about 320, which puts me further away from the traffic for the residents over farm fields, where I can climb up to pattern altitude, then throttle back and not be so noisy. Once I'm out over the farm fields nicely, I can begin to my normal downwind or upwind leg. Alright, here we go. Alright, throttle back, get the engine quieter. So in the pattern, I don't normally mess with the mixture. I always want full mixture, so I have full power if I need it. I just throttle back to about 2,000 RPM or 2,400 RPM and let the plane fly itself. I'm at pattern altitude. I'm kind of passing by the housing. I'll make my turn. Middle to Maury traffic. Biplane 2 Acroduster, left crosswind, runway 28, middle to Maury. You really can't see it from here. I can't see it from here, but down here on the left side of the wing is where my daughter lives with her family. 2 cute little grandchildren. Well, not little anymore. We fly out to Highway 14, which again, that's our downwind leg. We start our downwind turn. Middleton Morning traffic, biplane 2 to the left, downwind, runway 28, Middleton Morning. Alright, keep my speed down, about 110 right now, not too bad. Keep my altitude up. Pull my back of the throttle a little bit. Start losing that speed so I can get down to 100 and hold. And I'm still in pattern altitude. Alright, there's 100. At 100, I'm a little nose high, which is not really comfortable when you're flying straight ahead and you can't really afford to drop your nose. So I depend on traffic announcing itself and my GPS for telling if there's anybody ahead of me. That's not always the greatest, but it's what I got to work with. Passing over the West Belt Line. Over top of downtown Middleton, which is almost directly below me now. I got Parmenter on the left. I'll start my turn in here in a second. Middleton Morning traffic, biplane 2 to the left base, runway 28, Middleton Morning. Nice gentle turns here. Looking out to the east, make sure there's nobody coming in on a long straight in from Madison. I don't hear anybody, I don't see anybody. We'll make this in a full stop. Middleton Morning traffic, biplane 2 to the final runway 28, Middleton Morning, full stop. And throttle way back. Start my forward slip. We're a little high, so I'm going to really lose some altitude here. Oh yeah. Almost back to full idle. That's full idle now. Dropping at 2,000 feet a minute and still 100 miles per hour. I'll be a little bit longer this time. I can't bleed off that speed fast enough. Oh, there we go. That's better. Just let her settle. There. And get the nose up. The tail up, I mean. I can see forward. And make the first turn. For my short landing. Right. Middleton Morning traffic, biplane 2 to clear runway 28, taxiing the hangars. Get my zigzag pattern down the taxiway so I can see ahead of me. Since I have my the wind is head on to me, I don't have to do any deflection of ailerons for counteract the wind. If I had a crosswind to me, I'd have the aileron up into the wind, so it doesn't flip me over. And my delta wind. The lane is clear. Okay. Now, the kind of part this has got a little bit of a valley in the middle of the taxiway for water runoff. So if I pull up on the one side, I can get a little back pressure, or a little downhill work. Help me get the airplane back into the hangar. Now I start shutting stuff off. As soon as I turn the radio off, you're going to lose my voice. So thanks for riding along, and we'll see you on the next trip.